Are you ready to take down the Millie this week? Because I know that I am, and I'm getting sick and tired that it's been 5 weeks and I haven't done it yet. So let's go. What up, everybody? It's your boy DFS Up North here with another 10 under 10 podcast version of the article that I put up weekly on DFSArmy.com for free. I got you covered with my 10 favorite GPP plays on DraftKings and FanDuel, 5 from each that are all projecting to be under 10% owned. If you are not a DFS Army VIP, don't worry, this article is for free. But if you want access to all of our other tools, including the domination station, the matchups sheet, the proptimizer, all that jazz. And if you want access to that, guys, you got to become a DFS Army VIP. You can use that code 10 up north, for 10% off. And like, seriously, why would you not want to be a VIP? Because look at this. Like, are you kidding me? Sliders with a cool 100K last week, including, I see there at the bottom, my boy Rashee Rice, who was in this article last week as one of my favorite 10 under 10 options on FanDuel. So big shout out to Sliders, 100K, which is just a ridiculous number. And maybe we can find another player this week that gets into through. Are we like just laggy or what today? Hoofda. As I go through, guys, if you want to tell me who your favorite GPP play is, that's going to be under 10% owned. If it's somebody that I talk about, if it's not somebody that I talk about, you tell me. If it's, put it in the chat. Let me know who your favorite play is. I like to see it. I like to see if I'm on the right track or if that we're on the right track together. So let me know. All right. But let's get started. We are going to be talking about DraftKings first this week. But before we get there, let's recap week 5. I don't want to recap week 5 on DraftKings. All right. It was not that good. Zach Wilson got the win, but really didn't do much. CJ Stroud, again, I thought played okay, 2.4x, and that was pretty much it out of there. The rest of the guys had a bit of a struggle fest. FanDuel was much better with our boy Breece Hall smashing 26.9 points. We averaged 2.54x on FanDuel last week, which was fairly good, right? It was better than what we did on FanDuel the week before. But we'd like to get this thing with all 5 guys averaging over 3x. Now, remember, though, before we get to the plays, these are not guys that you should be putting all in the same lineup together. You don't need to get that different. When we look at, right, like we look at this sheet, right? Joe Burrow was heavily owned last week. Alvin Kamara, David Montgomery, all high, Tyreek Hill, all high owned plays. You don't need to get that funky every week, but you do need like a Rashee Rice, right? You need to get somebody that is going to project a low own. Let's get to some of my favorite plays this week. So it's starting off with my boy. I'm a Vikings fan at heart, Kirk Cousins. People might be off of him this week because of Justin Jefferson going down with an injury. I am not one of those people. All right. I love Cousins this week. I actually think that he is going to have to throw it more against the Bears, who are, as you and I both know, not very good. I'm imagining that we're going to see around 40 passes here. The projections aren't great. Even the odds, or the sportsbook odds, 250 yards, 1 TD. I think he crushes that. They're going to dink and dunk their way all down the field until Jordan Addison gets loose. We throw a TD to him. I actually really like KJ Osborne as well. I think he's going to get double-digit targets this game. So kind of where I'm at with the Vikings this week is I know people really like Jordan Addison, and I hope my Vikings fan inside hopes that he crushes. But I sort of think that what's going to happen this week is that Addison's role sort of stays the same as a rookie. And then we see more target share going to KJ Osborne and TJ Hawkinson. The offense is going to look quite a bit different, I believe. We're not going to see Jordan Addison just slide into that Justin Jefferson role. That's not going to happen. All right. They run different route trees. Like, it's just, I don't foresee that happening. So we're going to run a very vanilla-y type of offense, the Vikings are, which should be fine against the Bears. And they're going to sort of dink and dunk their way down the field. It's going to be tough. I think that there is a real potential that we see Addison just run like fly routes all day to clear stuff through the middle. That could actually be Brandon Powell as well, who I don't necessarily love just because he's at 4,000 on DraftKings. The price savings that you get on a guy like that, I'd just rather go to KJ Osborne, who's going to be a PPR monster here. I do love both sides of this game. Obviously, I think that Fields is going to have a field day. And yeah, it's a win for me. The other guy that I'm interested in QB this week as like a long shot punt is Bryce Young. All right, really nice outing last week, and he threw the ball 41 times, completed 25, and he's going to have to do that again here to keep up with a talented Dolphins offense. I think it's an easy pair with Adam Thielen. Like, the rest of your lineup looks so good with just those two in there. I don't love the ceiling's not huge with Bryce Young, but I think we're just getting there to the point where he is going to put up 20, 25 points, and at $5,000 or $5,100 on DraftKings, that can absolutely get you there. You run it back with Tyreek or Jalen Waddle or even Raheem Mostert, or two of them, I think is fine. I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. Really, really high on those guys. And don't sleep on Hayden Hurst in this game. Thielen's been the guy that I've been talking about all year as the red zone target, the guy that they're going to look for in the end zone, and that has played out correctly the last 2 weeks, right? Slow start, but things came around the last 2 weeks. I think that we're going to see Hurst get more involvement. He's a big target, and they're just not utilizing him enough, all right? Next up, we got like the leverage spot of the century, people. Jonathan Taylor. What are we doing here? 1% owned. Like, I love this. He didn't get paid to be the backup to Zach Moss, right? I get that he's not getting a full workload, but with Anthony Richardson out, he's gonna see more work than he did last week. The Jags have been okay against the run, but like, this is JT. All right. I think there's potential that we're a week early on the breakout game. I don't hate that, though. I'm willing to take that chance on a player of Jonathan Taylor's caliber at the price and ownership combination. Next up, another running back that I really like on FanDuel and DraftKings, right? I've got him listed here on DraftKings, but he's absolutely viable on FanDuel, is David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs is out. They ruled him out today. It is Friday. Tampa Bay is okay at stopping the run. I don't think it really matters. Like, Montgomery's just going to smash anyways. He's going to get 20 plus carries. He's heavily involved in the passing game. And he is absolutely viable on both sites. Love Monty. So those are my two favorite running backs and my two favorite quarterbacks on DraftKings. If you guys like somebody else, make sure that you put it in the comments. Let me know who, especially running backs. Like, running back this week, you guys, is really, really tough, especially when we get over to FanDuel. It's a tough slate. All right. So tell me who you like. And I wrote about it on the FanDuel side that you just might have to eat the chalk at running back this week. And that's fine. Right. It's okay to do that. All right. You don't need to get different just to get different. As we saw in that lineup from Sliders that won 100K last week, it's one or two pieces here or there that let you get a little bit sneaky. Next guy up is revenge game narrative, Jacoby Myers. Not only is it revenge game for Jacoby Myers, it's Jimmy G too. I can't believe the Pats let Jacoby Myers walk. Like, bonkers to me. But been great. We watched him Monday night. Looked really, really good. Devontae Adams didn't do much. We saw Jacoby Myers get the lion's share of the targets here. Adams is still nursing a shoulder injury, and beyond that, the Pats are just going to really key on him. So I think that the PPR upside on Myers is fantastic. I love the 5,800. He's going to score a revenge game, maybe a revenge game for Josh McDaniels too, right? I didn't even think about that, but yeah. So I love Jacoby Myers as my kind of one-off wide receiver, lower owned guy on DraftKings. All right. You want to be a winner like Bobby Wow, Bobby Millions, right? You want to build sexy lineups like this, you got to use the domination station. And to use the domination station, you got to be a DFS Army VIP. To do that, you can use the code UpNorth, or like I will show you here in a minute, but like you can just get a free month. I'm in the domination station right now, but let's see how we get a free month, right? You can join one of these sites like Prize Picks, Sleeper, Jock Market, Owner's Box, which is still around, Underdog Fantasy, PointsBet, or Rotoballer. Make a deposit of at least $20 on sites 1 through 6 for that welcome email, and you get a free month here at Jock Market. You do have to enter a paid contest to qualify, but use that code DFS Army. You can get a free month of DFS Army VIP. You try us out, you get to November, see if you like it, and see if you want to keep it going. All right, next up, FanDuel. This is a game that I think can be really a sneaky shootout, and that is the Falcons versus the Washington Commanders. Like, Washington defense is trash. Desmond Ridder, I think, is not very good, but he did look really decent, like average last week. He threw for over 300 yards. He's a guy, and I've wrote about him in here before, that I just think that he has GPP winning upside every time he touches the field. He hasn't shown the rushing ability yet, but we're just going to get a week at some point here where Desmond Ridder, like, gets 2 brotherly shoves at the end zone, or scrambles in to score 2 touchdowns and then throws for 1 or 2 and has just this monster score. It is going to happen at some point. I like it this week against the Commanders, who are just terrible. Drake London's probably my favorite pair here. Super cheap and low owned on both sides. Tons of upside. You can pair him with Kyle Pitts, but I do still like Jonnu Smith. He's a little dinged up. He practiced fully, but I don't love that he's dealing with a little bit of an injury. You can even stack him with Bijan and just like get all of the tutties here. They're implied for 22.5, so that's not like the worst strategy in the world. I don't hate it. So I just I'm really high on Desmond Ridder for the rest of the season. It's likely won't be the last time you see him in this video. All right. Next up, okay, I'm just warning you. This is I'm gonna come in here to talk to you guys. This is a very thin play because FanDuel is like, it's bad. It's not good this week, guys. It is. There's no cheap options. The only guys that are projecting, as of the last look that I had, under 10% home are a ridiculously priced Kenneth Walker, and then David Montgomery, who I already wrote about on the DraftKings side. So it's thin. All right. I'm warning you. It is a thin play. All right. But the running back that I wrote up for FanDuel this week is Kendre Miller. So obviously projecting at under 1% owned. It's like a super gut feeling punt here. But I just think he gets some decent run. Had 12 carries for 37 and 4 catches for 53 last week. And while lots of that came in that second half and a blowout of the Pats, like, he was still involved when Kamara was in the game in the first. Like, he spelled him. So I just think that he's going to get some work here against the Texans, who are not a good run defense. I think that there's a potential for a TD, and it's super cheap. So this is like you're playing 150 lineups, and you might waste 3 lineups on Kendre Miller, but I'm willing to do it in MME this week. Again, the Proptimizer, great way to check out props if you are a sports bettor and find out where the edge is. And you can get that by becoming a DFS Army VIP. All right. Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like, coming off a bye, no guarantee that Mike Evans plays. I'm actually going to look it up right now. I'm filming this at 8:30 on a Friday night to see what's going on with Mike Evans, see if there's any news today. I was at work all day, so I haven't been able to really dive in since last night. So let's see what's going on with Mikey boy. Fully practiced today. There is no tag. Doesn't even have an injury designation. So either way, I actually think that might be good for Godwin. It clears some stuff up. But Evans is dealing with a hamstring injury. Saw 11 targets last week when Evans was out. We've been seeing like 5 or 6 in between, but I think that number could get higher here. Mayfield loves to huck the ball. The Lions are a high-powered offense, which I'm also going to talk about in a second here with Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're not great at pasty, like 6,300, 5% owned. Like, it just checks a lot of boxes for me. And so does the other side of the ball, right? This is our weekly, what are we doing here candidate? And Amon-Ra St. Brown, like, he's got no injury designation coming off that abdomen injury. Been a full go in practice. Like, the Tampa Bay defense is okay, but like, the Lions throw the ball a million times and Jared Goff is pretty good. So I am willing to pay up for Amon-Ra St. Brown. This ownership should creep up, right? But even if it does, like, I can't see it getting higher than 10%. And at that ownership and price range on FanDuel, like, I just got to get some exposure. Logan Thomas is the last guy. I said I loved this game. Had a ridiculous 11 targets last week against the Bears. The Falcons funnel points to opposing tight ends. So it's just, I get that we're paying up a little, but this is a smash spot for me on Logan Thomas. But know that the floor is not great on Logan Thomas. All right. And then our GPP winning defense. This is an important piece. Okay. I typically like to play the defense that is my lowest priced viable option, meaning that they are the cheapest defense that has like some viability here. And you could actually, I mean, you could arguably make the argument that any defense is viable any week. All right. And I have a really hard time paying up for defenses. All right. I said it on the Showdown podcast earlier this week that I have a little bit of a bias when it comes to defense. But I think this is a really good spot against the Jets. Zach Wilson is still Zach Wilson, even though he looked serviceable last week. He's going to turn the ball over. This Eagles defense is nasty. 7-point favorites, low total. Like, I just don't see the Eagles not putting up double-digit points here. I think they could put up 20 plus, and I get that it's going to be chalky, but I'm going to eat it this weekend. And I understand that the leverage pieces that you probably should fade it, but I can't find myself getting off of the Eagles, or at least being in an overweight position on the Eagles this week at defense. So those are my 10 plays for the week. You can find this article at DFSArmy.com. I will link it in the bio below. And if you're not a DFS Army VIP, what are you doing? Why don't you want to win $100,000 like sliders, right? Use that code UpNorth, become a DFS Army VIP. And then when you do it, hit me up in the Discord and say, what's up, UpNorth? I am here. Let's chop it up. All right. So have a fantastic week, everybody. We're a little shorter. I talked probably too fast, which people get annoyed with sometimes. But have a great week, guys. I will be back. I have Showdown content, but it's VIP only, right? So again, another reason to become a DFS Army VIP, but I will have Sunday morning football content tomorrow. I will have Sunday night football content for tomorrow. We got golf going on still. It's all going here at DFS Army. So have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next week.